What's up, everybody? Well, today I am here to show to you another vacuum that is in my vacuum collection. This time it is of another Hoover Elite. I'm sure many people of you probably know by now, for those of you who are just tuning into the channel or who just clicked on this video, or for those of you who watch my videos without checking source material, probably will know already that, or should know, that I love Hoover Elites. They are just my most favorite vacuums. They are the vacuum that got me into collecting vacuums and brought my vacuum obsession up to what it is today that I'm sharing with all of y'all. And they're pretty much just my favorite. So what I have for your viewing pleasure today is of a vacuum that has dealt kind of a bad hand. It's another one of those elites that unfortunately suffered shipping damage. What I have is a Hoover Legacy Total System Performance 830, but there is a sad story behind getting this. I bought this on eBay about a few months ago, and unfortunately, due to incompetent shippers who do not know how to handle their packages, I've already had bad experience with those from earlier years from other vacuums that have had patch jobs or were delegated to parts vacuums. But this almost became a parts vacuum at one point. Because it almost became a parts vacuum, is because the hood got damaged. As you can see, the hood that's on it now is actually from another Legacy model. As you can tell, the shade of green is a little bit different, which I will go ahead and get to that later. But the original hood, got damaged on this thing. This thing was listed as for parts or repair, because when I got it, the motor housing had a nail sticking out of the fan chamber. So because of that, this thing likely needs a fan. And every time I turn it on, it just screams very loudly. And I had the motor fully rebuilt and put brand new bearings in it. In fact, the last two set of bearings that I had, I threw into that motor. And I have come to the conclusion that the fan is bad in that thing. And until I can find a fan that pops up for sale new old stock on eBay, that's going to be used as a parts unit for now. Or at least I threw that on another Elite and pulled a good motor out of that and put it into this so this can get up and running. So now this had a good running motor with a good enough fan so that it isn't as noisy. But this thing would also need a hood in order to run and look good. And that actually came out to one collector that I'm in close contact with. And I would like to give that shout out to Alex Kretzmer. If you're watching this video, thank you for sending me the hood for this. He was actually parting out a Hoover Dimension, a U5069, that's the bright green Kmart model. And the replacement hood I wanted to get for this had to at least be from the same model, or it had to be some shade of green to at least somewhat be color correct. I knew I wasn't going to get perfect. But since the U5209 was a shade of green, albeit a little bit brighter of a green, I kind of thought it would fit well. And here's how it is sitting on this. Eventually one of these days, if I find an original hood, I will definitely go out and buy it. But for now, this actually looks good, being that it has a functional and structurally safe hood. But now let's go ahead and give a walkthrough of the machine now that I've giving you an up-to-date history on this. And this is one of the lower spec models of the Legacy, being that it doesn't have the handle-mounted power switch. It actually has the side-mounted power switch, like lower-end Elite models would, but it does at least have the deluxe handle grip. One thing I love about these older gray body Elites is that the handle is actually colored in black instead of tan like they would later do for the black body Elites, which is one nice little touch of detail that they did on these back then. Of course, there was a period of time when they were transitioning from the gray body to the black body, which I think it was about 94 when they started going into the black body, is that some of the handle covers that would come with it would also be black, but you wouldn't notice because it kind of blends into the body of the vacuum. But that's before they changed it to a tan handle in those later years. So down here, this is one of the higher end models of the Legacy that has the scent tablet on the front there. So you can just pop a little scent tablet in there. And right on the front it says Hoover Dual Purpose Heavy Duty on the bag door. And open this guy up. Inside you do have your Hoover Type A bag. This is a generic HEPA cloth bag for increased filtration. And it filters out much better than even the genuine paper bags of the time do. So this is a nice upgrade if you can find it. And as we move along down, you do have your stair cleaning handle down below. You can hold it from down there to use this to clean on carpeted stairs. And as we move along down here, the hood obviously on this is not original. As you could tell by the different shades of green, this actually came from a later Hoover dimension of the same hood design, of the hood style. So right down here you do have your 4 selection carpet height adjustment, as well as another setting right here that is used for cleaning tools. And when you slide it over to the left, there's actually a trap door underneath that pulls shut to allow all the suction coming that's originally going to the cleaner head, have it all go through your hose for tools. But for carpet height, I always like to leave it in the middle setting for the pile of this carpet. And one thing you will notice, even though this hood is from a later Hoover dimension, I have managed to successfully salvage the original label tag from the old broken hood and put it on this hood, so it'll at least be model correct. So if you didn't know this any better, despite the color difference, you would have guessed that this label tag came on this hood original. So that is one nice thing I did to pay homage to the original hood. But as you can see, it is Hoover Legacy. Total system performance is 830. Another marketing technique before Hoover started doing the cleaning effectiveness per amp in the later year, which this is just nothing more than to make high-end models look prettier on the shelves while also giving them a higher price tag. You do have brushed edge cleaning on both sides. And also one other thing I definitely did to pay homage to the original hood that this came with is the attachment door is also from the broken hood. Thankfully it was in one piece, so unfortunately the original ended up getting broke during shipment, which I am not having good luck with shipping the Elites through any shipping carrier. FedEx, UPS, USPS, they're all damaging all these Elites that I'm getting. I don't know what that is, but I successfully managed to plastic weld the hinges on the side to try to get this to hold steady, so at least it'll be there and it won't look just blank like there's no trapdoor there. Of course, that doesn't matter entirely because the hose is always going to stay permanently connected. But since I care about those fine details, I decided to go the extra mile and plastic weld the hinges back onto this so that the door can still be there. Unfortunately, now it doesn't have a spring anymore because I'm too worried about breaking those hinges off. So this thing is not attached by a spring, so it just stays open like it is there. But the hose does stay permanently connected. It doesn't interfere, so that's nothing to worry about there. So on the back here, you do have your extension wand and obviously your flexible hose mounted on the side right there. It does loop around the front here. You also have on the back your upholstery tool, crevice tool, and dusting brush. And your nice long 30-foot power cord. And your side-mounted power switch, which, as many people probably know, this is a plastic rock connected to a plastic rod that runs down into where a main rocker switch is in the valley of the motor. And let's go ahead and show you the underside of this guy. Here is the brush roll that's in this. This is not original. This is actually a genuine brush roll that I had laying around in a parts bin that was from another cleaner that had stuck a different brush roll in, but this was just laying around, so I decided, you know what, let's throw it in. And this is in better condition than the original brush roll I pulled out of this, which I still have, but the bristles are unfortunately worn down to the point that they are like very, very thin bristle length left, so I figured it wouldn't be as effective as this brush roll would, so I decided to put this in its place, and it does work good. I have no complaints over this brush roll. I've always loved the genuine brush rolls. They have very, very stiff bristles, so it's definitely going to have excellent carpet agitation. And now let's go ahead and turn this thing on its back to show you the model number. This is Hoover Cleaner model U5069-910, 120 volts, 60 hertz. It has a 7.5 amp motor. The bag type A and belt type is 38528-027, now known as 38528-040. And the serial number, the first two digits of the serial number will decode the month, and the third and fourth digit will decode the year, so 04 of 92, which means this vacuum was manufactured in April of 1992 by the Hoover Company of North Canton, Ohio, for household use only, made in the USA. That is one thing I love about these Hoovers, is that they are US made. You will never see any Hoover cleaner that is made in the US of today's standards. Mexico if you're lucky, but I've never seen any that are actually made in the USA. Usually a lot of them may be assembled in the USA, but does have a lot of outsourced components. So now let's go ahead and release the long power cord, which this has to be one of the few longer cords I've ever used. This has to at least be in the 30-foot range, and it is in very good condition. I have not noticed one single tear or fray anywhere or nick anywhere in the cord. So let's go ahead and plug this guy in. And we will go ahead and turn this thing on and give you a demo of it running. Now, typical Hoover Elite fashion, these things do run pretty loud when they're running, so, and that's just their nature. They're naturally this loud, so headphone users or those with sensitive hearing, I would advise turning down your volume for this portion of the video. So, here we go. I'm just really happy this thing was able to be salvageable and at least get up and running, even though it doesn't look the fanciest, but at least it looks better than what it would have done if it had its broken hood. But, oh, also another thing, if you want an idea of how long the cord is, I haven't even reached all the way around my room yet. That's just how long the cord is. I argue to say this thing is probably about 34 foot in cord length. So let's go ahead and demonstrate the tools on this. So let's go ahead and take the hose off. Tool suction is not fantastic because this is a direct air vacuum. When you're done, just simply put the hose back on the tool rack, and there you go. Well, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this video on the Hoover Legacy Total System Performance 830. Be sure and stay tuned, and don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.